Good morning. Thank you for watching Kalkine TV. My name is Sage. Today we have some trending news to share with you. Will New South Wales stamp duty be abolished? With the New South Wales state budget announcement due next week, all eyes are on New South Wales State Premier Dominic Perrottet. Hot on the agenda will be the state's stamp duty regulations, and Perrottet is an open critic of the existing stamp duty system in the state. Last year there were talks around the reform of the existing stamp duty rules for the state, and Dominic Perrottet was quoted saying in The Guardian from his visit to flood-ridden Lismore, "Stamp duty is the worst tax that any government can have. It is a massive impediment for people getting into the housing market. But state governments can't do away with stamp duty without support from the federal government." As New South Wales State Treasurer Dominic Perrottet voiced his ambitions to shift the parameters of the stamp duty towards an annualised land tax instead. For the 2020 to 21 financial year, $9.4 billion in stamp duty was earned in revenue for the New South Wales government, and this is close to 28% of New South Wales' total tax revenue. It's been estimated that under the new optional land tax system that Perrottet is advising, it could lead to a state deficit of $2.5 billion annually. Federal government assistance will be required to make the suggested changes, and for the first time since the election, the New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet will meet with Australia's new Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Friday. The proposed reform that has been slow to proceed onto further stages could reel in close to $11 billion into the state's budget over a 4-year term. The current term suggests that stamp duty for the purchase of homes could be abolished entirely with an annual land property tax. Reports from the Sydney Morning Herald showed that the proposal had now been signed to move forward with the suggested reforms to the annual property tax in place of the existing stamp duty system. Although New South Wales Premier Perrottet is set on gaining the federal government's support in order to process the suggested reforms, the Federal Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, has been non-committal. There are plans for the state leaders to meet with the Federal Treasurer next month. However, he has been quoted saying in The Guardian newspaper, ultimately stamp duty is for the state governments. There have been concerns from New South Wales Shadow Ministry on the affordability of the reforms for homeowners, and Shadow Treasurer Daniel Mookie shared that Labor has calculated through their analysis that households would be paying close to $2,400 on average per year, and although the annual payment will be an option at first, the land tax would stay in place even after the sale of the property. At a time when inflation is impacting everything from groceries, energy prices and petrol, at the bowels of the New South Wales Labor government are focused on how this land tax reform will be managed by the homeowners who may not be receiving wage increases to meet the rising costs of living, including their mortgage repayments due to rising interest rates. The broad perspective amongst the New South Wales Premier and economists is that the new land tax would create stimulus in the economy, with an estimated 300,000 new home buyers enabled entry into the property market through the reforms, which are slated to include hardship provisions. Industry lobby groups are pushing for more reforms to include additional assistance for seniors and those homeowners on low incomes. Thank you for joining us on that trending news report. We'll keep you updated as the new news reels in. Please share your thoughts on the stamp duty reform in the comments below, and keep it locked on Kalkine TV for more market insights and trending news. Sage here signing off for now.